I've sold hundreds of videos worth of products and services in my life, but if I were to completely start over again with high ticket sales in 2025, here's every single thing I would do. Now in this video, I'm going to share with you the exact process I've used to help hundreds of people who go from stuck in their 9 to 5 to making tens of thousands of dollars a month while traveling the world. Now I know how scary it can be for people to jump head first into sales. Now there are thousands of ways that you can possibly mess it up. You can freeze up, forget what to say, or freak out because a prospect kept pushing back against your offer. Now that's why I've condensed my over 11 years of own sales experience to create the perfect roadmap for you to follow to start learning high ticket sales in 2025. Step 1. How to make the jump. Now, the first thing you need to do is to take a step back and re-evaluate yourself. Sure, you want to make it big in sales, but aside from that, where do your natural strengths lies? What are your interests? For me, I used to work in a marketing agency and I'm able to use those experience in sales, right? And because of that, I've already gained leverage over 80% of other salespeople. So take what you're already good at and use that to amplify your sales career. Let's say that you work in software development, medicine. That experience isn't something you should just throw away the moment you start doing sales. So if you used to do programming, now you can get into tech sales, which is very high ticket. Or if you work in medicine, you can be a health sales rep, which also pays really high in the thousands. Right? So before you even get started learning sales, I want you to take a look at what you're currently already doing that you're quite good at and how you can use that to transition into sales in that industry. But once you have a solid idea of what you want your sales career to look like and how you might market yourself using your past experiences, you can't just apply to sales jobs and expect them to accept you. Step 2. Practice selling. Now, practice makes perfect, and in sales, it is in your lifeblood, right? There are some really good resources out there to help you to gain the advantage you need to start getting into sales. And one really good resource is YouTube. And if you're watching this video, congrats, because you're already learning more than the average beginner does before they even get started. But I also suggest that you start looking for live sales calls to watch. They're all over YouTube. Just type sales call live into the search bar and go through the results. Take a pen, paper, and write down everything you notice. What's their tone? What questions are they asking? How did they get a prospect to say this or that, right? And those are the things you should be taking note of. And once you've gone through 10 of those live sales calls, you start to notice you've gained a solid understanding of how most successful salespeople run a sales call. Now, using your notes, I want you to develop a framework based on what other salespeople are saying. Now, you should be able to create a 7-step plan on how they start a call, what they say to get people to start talking, and also more. But at that point, you're going to have a solid framework they can look back on for when you start making your own sales. But you realize something. You can learn everything using the best course. You can sit down and watch 40 hours long of YouTube tutorials, but none of that is going to be as efficient as going out there and practicing real time. There's no way you'll be able to practice with an actual prospect though, because, so you have to look for a partner to work with you. And there are many ways you can do this. Online communities on Reddit, LinkedIn are packed full of beginners looking for sales partners to practice with. I suggest that you go to, reps on Reddit and find someone who is in the same position as you. Say, hey, I'm looking to get better at sales. Who's down to practice? Now, when someone is interested in working with you, try to schedule 4 mock calls with them every day. 2 where you sell to them, 2 where they sell to you. Now, you have to come up with a fictional product or service and a fictional situation the prospect is in. I find it really useful to just have a list of those products before the call with its price and who the audience is. By this point, you should be ready to jump into the call and start practicing. Now, every mock call should be recorded because afterwards, you'll be going through it and taking notes just like the YouTube videos that you have watched. And I want you to analyze everything super closely at the end of the day. Write down 3 things that you did well and 3 things that you can improve on. Take note of your partner's feedback too. So get them to write 3 things that they think you should improve on. That way, you'll be able to implement that feedback in your next call. It might be difficult at first though, because your first mock call is probably going to turn up awful, stuttering, wrong things that you say, you get sidetracked from your main goal, but the key is to develop how well you can seek out the right response from your prospects. Now, by doing these mock calls, you're actively learning how to control the conversation to your advantage. And using the framework that you've developed before, you can look back on what you're doing right in your mock calls and what you're doing wrong. So if you keep on doing this for at least 1-2 months, I guarantee that you're gonna become a killer salesperson in no time. Step 3, find a job. Now, knowing how to sell and actually getting a sales job is a whole different playing field. Because finding a job in sales is when you're finally getting the real world experience that you need. And there's only so much that you can learn through mock calls and practice at the end of the day. And once you get a job, you're one step closer to making thousands in profits from selling high-ticket products. So here's a 5-step framework on how you can find a sales job as an absolute beginner. Use your unique selling point. Now, we already discussed this back in the beginning of the roadmap. When you want to get into sales, you have to be able to make use of your past experience and what you already know. By doing that, you're giving yourself a new selling point or even an advantage that put you ahead of other salespeople. Update your LinkedIn profile and resume with your achievement around sales, even if they're still small, alright? Make sure to include your past work experience and figure out ways that you can frame your interest as a unique selling point for sales. I also want you to apply to 10 high-ticket sales jobs daily on job boards and company websites. Just try it. And you can usually find them on LinkedIn or sales-specific job boards such as salesjobs.com. You can also even try researching for companies or offers that you would like to sell for and apply directly to them, even if they may not have a job opening out. Now, you've got to be result driven because practice your elevator pitch and common interview questions daily are gonna get you there. Business owners appreciate someone who is dedicated to profits and getting results. Even if you don't have any professional experience in your sales yet, owners will give you a chance if you just show them your sales mock calls, how driven you are and how much you're willing to learn. But as a beginner, that also meant that you shouldn't be expecting a 100K job starting out. Now, the money is in the follow-up. You don't want a salary. In fact, you should never want it. Earning a profit share is where it should be at. That way, you're able to see how much you're improving. And after all, if your profits is tied to your success as a salesperson, shouldn't that push you to get better and better? And business owners will be much more willing to hire a beginner if you tell them that they only need to pay you whenever you make a sale. So that means that you just keep getting better and better and better. And once you manage to get a job, keep reviewing your calls, continue to write down the 3 things to improve on, watch your calls, and keep that loop going forever. And there's no way you don't become a master of sales in a matter of months. Step number 4, the path to 1 million. Of course, your first sales job probably won't get you to that 1 million goal. But once you've gotten comfortable with your skills and you know that you're one of the best, it's finally time to backtrack and ask yourself this. Does this job pay me 100,000? If the answer is no, quit. It might sound a little bit drastic, but if you keep working at a job that doesn't pay you the way you want, there's no way you're gonna hit that 1 million mark. You need to find a company that actually pays you beyond and get you to that pay that you want from the performance and skills that you already have. Because if a company is paying you this high from a profit share, then they're most likely selling a really high ticket product. So when you apply for your next job, make sure to take note what their products are, how much you can earn from it. That will mean doing a bit of research into each company that you apply to, but it's totally worth it. Because if you're able to find that high ticket company, you'll be on your way to the 1 million, I guarantee you. This is exactly what I would do if I want to start high ticket sales in 2025. And if you want to check out my other videos, just click here. And also, don't forget to subscribe. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.